Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't been on here for a while making videos. I just don't really have a lot of time to do that. So I'm not going to be editing or anything. Hopefully I don't make any major mistakes. But I wanted to share with you today a project that I am doing over the year of 2026. I've already started it because a lot of times just with new things I start in the year, I tend to start them early. I don't know why. I guess to get myself ready. But this is related to the news that we hear in our world. And even if, you're the kind of person that doesn't listen to the news very often, like me, I don't read it very often. I don't listen to it very often. But somehow I always end up hearing the bad news. And I go through phases when I might read the news more often than other times. But generally speaking, I don't read the news very often. So my idea was to create what I am calling a 2026 Good News Almanac. And I'm going to hold that up there to show you. And I'll tell you in a minute how I'm making it. Because I realize that just with so much bad news, it can be really depressing. It can be stressful to hear so much bad news. And if you are a Christian, as I am, then you know that the Lord tells us in His Word that we should meditate on those things that are good and lovely and of good report, and more than that, from Philippians 4:8. So that's kind of my idea here. I'm going to go ahead and read to you what I wrote in the inside cover. Let me show you here what I have. I just got some, well, I'll show you in a second how I created it. But this is just a little introduction I wrote in the beginning. There's such a flood of bad news in the world today that I fear we will drown in it if we don't begin intentionally searching for news that is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. Philippians 4:8. The scriptures instruct us to fix our thoughts on things in life which are excellent or praiseworthy. So that is the aim of this simple good news almanac that I've begun and will continue to add to throughout the year of 2026. Of course, the best and greatest news we could ever listen to and daily meditate on is the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. So let us reflect on that news every single day and give thanks for our miraculous salvation. We read in 1 Corinthians 15:3-4 what the gospel is. And as I said just now, as I read, that is the best news, and we should be meditating on that news every day. For what I received, I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures, that He was buried and He was raised on the third day according to the scriptures. And then it goes on to say, and that he appeared to Peter and to the 12. I didn't have room to write that on my first introduction page, so I didn't write that part. I just wrote ... Okay, so I'm going to show you now how I'm creating this. It's very simple to do. I encourage you, if you're a person that feels overwhelmed by all of the bad news in our world, to just make this simple little book for yourself. And I would love to hear your comments. If you want to put comments in the comment section on how you made yours, or I know you can't really post pictures in YouTube, but I don't know, maybe we could figure out a way for you to show me the pictures of yours, or you can just describe it. So what I did is I went to Hobby Lobby. You can actually go to any other store that has crafts. I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought a 64-page coloring book. So I didn't know it was 64 pages. I just counted them before I did this video. So basically all of my pictures are upside down because I didn't really care. I actually would rather have them upside down when I create the cover, just because that way it won't be distracting. So the reason I got a coloring book is because the pages in a coloring book are like newsprint. They're sort of like newspaper. And I'm thinking, as I create this, I want this to have kind of a newsy feel. So that's what I got. There were thicker ones which I didn't know if I would be able to find enough good news to fill up a thicker coloring book. I don't even know if I'll be able to fill this one up. This is a medium-sized one. So what I did after that is I got the coloring book, and then I went to the scrapbooking section of the store, and I found some, like, if you go to the scrapbooking section, you'll find that they have decorative paper. They come in, I think maybe 8.5 by 11 size sheets, and then 12 by 12 size sheets, and there are all different kinds of designs and colors. What I chose, okay, wait, let me back up. I did go to that section of the store and I bought some things, but then I ended up not using them. Okay, so not for the main cover. What I did, I forgot what I did is I got on Etsy. Another thing you can do is get on Etsy, and it depending on what you want. So our Hobby Lobby did not have anything that looked like newsprint, although I did buy some other sheets of paper, which I'll show you in a minute, example of how I use them. But they didn't have the main cover, and like once I got home, what I had bought I wasn't really happy with. So I got on Etsy, and you can do digital downloads on Etsy. It's only about maybe $2 or $3, $1 sometimes, depending on what you want. And I just typed in like vintage newsprint, and I found some that I liked, and I printed them on my home printer. You can also put them on a flash drive, like put the PDF file on a flash drive and take it somewhere to get it printed if you don't have a printer at home. So what I did, mine looks like this. This is what I downloaded from Etsy, and it's just old. It looks more like a catalog than a newsprint, and it basically, I tried to choose one that didn't have any bad news on it. This is all about like old-fashioned cash register, a bear bank, just vintage things, musical and spinning tops. And it's, as you can tell, it's kind of a vintage color. It's like an old, looks like an old newspaper sort of. So I got that. I printed them out in, since this is a regular coloring book size, I printed these sheets out in 8.5 by 11 on 8.5 by 11 paper. And basically I used, let me see, for, I used glue. I used just like the Elmer's glue sticks that are the extra strength, like extra strong sticky stuff. And I put it on the back of the cover, back of the paper, and I glued it around, and then I kind of wrapped it around the inside like that. And so I just have a little bit of a border on the inside cover. This is the cardboard cover. I did that. And then on the back, I did the same thing and kind of wrapped it around inside the back. As you can see, there's a little bit of a little extra there. And I didn't really do much. I mean, as far as, I didn't trim anything other than if it went over the edge a little bit, I trimmed it. As you can see, I folded it. Basically, I folded it over and glued it. So that's the cover. I mean, it was just very, very simple to do. If you get the 12 by 12 sheets at Hobby Lobby, then you'll probably end up having to cut some because you might have excess on the top and the sides. But with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to trim anything. And then I got some just religious Christian stickers from Hobby Lobby, and I have a whole book of them, so I'm going to be adding them to this book as I go along. But as you can see, there was a cross and a scripture verse there as my opening. So what I've done so far, as far as my the title on it, I just decided what I wanted it to be called, and this is what I came up with. I bought some sticky letters and numbers from Hobby Lobby, and I just the paper, I have a double layer of paper there. Like I have a black piece underneath on the bottom, and then this brownish color is some paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I cut down with my paper cutter to the size I wanted. So what I basically did is I stuck the numbers and the letters on the paper first, and I spaced them the way I wanted them, and then I used my paper cutter and cut them so they were as even as I could get them. I'm not really the greatest at things like this, but that's what I decided on my cover, 2026 Good News Almanac. And I just used I can't remember exactly, but I probably used a combination of glue and like double-sided tape. If you've ever seen these, let me see if I can pause the video and run get some of these supplies to show you. Okay, so this is the glue I was telling you about. This is just Elmer's Craft Bond glue. Let me see if I can get that so you can read it better. It's just, I don't know, it's coming out blurry, but it's just extra strength. This is the small one. I had a big one too, but the lid actually got so glued onto the large one that we couldn't get it off. So I have a bunch of little ones that I'm using now. And then this is it's like a tape runner. It's called Permanent. Let's see, this is like Walmart brand, and I got it in a package of maybe 4 in a package. It's called Ad Tech Essential 8mm tape permanent, and it's just a tape runner type thing. So you take your paper. This is an example of some of the paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. This is an 8.5 by 11 size, and let's see, it was 59 cents and it was on sale. So that's about how much you're going to pay for it. And you just take the tape after you cut your piece the size you want it, you just run the tape runner along the edges. And then I put some in the middle, usually depending on how big the sheet is. So I used a combination of this and the glue to stick my letters. I think mostly I use glue on this. And one thing that's really nice is when you glue your articles in, because of the type of paper that's in this coloring book, you really don't need the tape runner for it. And I would stick with the glue on these pages because they're not like super thin pages, but they are thinner than regular paper, so you're going to want to be careful. And let me show you an example of the paper, some more paper I got. Of course, you will need scissors, and I like to use a paper cutter because that gets my line straighter. These are the 8.5 by 11 sheets that I'm using. I'm actually using these particular ones for a different project, which I might make another video on. And then these are the 12 by 12, I believe they are. Yeah, these are 12 by 12. You can see the difference in the size. There we go. And just some different designs that I will be using for other various things that I'm creating. There's a music one, and I think these other two are just like wintry type of pages. Okay, so let me show you what I have inside of the almanac. The Good News Almanac so far. I have not started putting a lot in it, but I did find a couple things. Let's see. I get this little publication in the mail that is like a newspaper, like a small newspaper, and it's called Herald of His Coming. So it's about, it's a Christian publication, but it looks like a newspaper, and they have like things that happen all over the world. They have inspirational articles on just spiritual things, like what the scriptures say. Usually they have a topic and what the scriptures say about various things. That's just something I've gotten in the mail for several years. And in the back of it, they have news on what's happening in other countries with persecuted Christians and things like that. So I found this article called 9,000 Decisions for Christ in Argentina. And what I did is I just clipped that article and I decided where I wanted it on my page. Obviously, you can see that I still have some of the coloring page there, which I will cover up with other good news when I get it. I'm going to have to really, I think the thing is like, because we have so much bad news in our world, it's going to take an intentional effort to get out there and try to find good news. And that's one of my goals this year, is try to find good news. And then so on the next page, I had this larger article that came out of a publication where that sometimes I pick up along the way, and it was about some dulcimer players who put on a performance around here, which I thought was really neat. It was a Christmas performance, so that was some local news that was something good to think about and happy. And then I got online and I just typed in like good news in the world today, and an ABC article came up entitled "Brother and Sister Credited for Helping Save Bus Driver in Medical Emergency." And so what I did for this one was I cut out the picture, I printed the whole article, and then I cut out the picture I wanted. They had a couple pictures. I just chose this one. This was just a picture of the bus driver and the 2 children who were helping her because she was having trouble breathing. And I cut out the article, and then to fit it on the page, I had to cut the article down because, as you know, like if you print out anything online, they're going to give you a bunch of ads and they're in between the lines of text. So I pretty much cut the article down and made it fit on the page, and so that took up the whole page for good news. And then the next page is just coloring pages. So I haven't gotten much farther, and this is a 2026 good news almanac. So I started in 2025, and I think what I'm going to do is also I'm going to maybe get different color pens and write in just things that happen in my local community, or maybe at work, or with my family members, and just make notes to myself of good things that happen along the way through 2026. And like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to fill this book up. I hope I can find enough good news to fill it up. For me, I will definitely be putting some scriptures in here, and I'm going to try to print out as much as I can. But I'm also going to be looking for various resources. I don't even know where I'm going to find the resources yet, but I'm asking other people too. Just if people I know, like if you hear of a good news article, send me a link or send me a clipping of it so that I can put it in this book, because I really want to encourage myself with this, but I also want to encourage other people with this. So if I hope you like this idea. If anybody's interested in knowing more, you can put questions in the comment section. I'll try to check those and answer those. And in the meantime, I hope if you're interested that you will make one as well, a 2026 Good News Journal or Almanac or whatever you choose to call it. And I hope you have fun with it. And until next time, have a great day.